everybody. I can't really hear that music actually from my end, but I know it's really cool. So that's why I'm just kind of moving to it and jive into it, just to make it bring the illusion of total control, which we don't have. Anyway, welcome to another exciting edition of the weekly AMA. So with me, I got, me, Dan Friedman, and over here. Over here. Yeah, over there is none other than Alex Kushti, and he's joining me for the AMA today. Say hi to everybody, Alex.
Hi everyone, how's it going? So checking how streaming is going to the Telegram at the same time.
Yeah, we're broadcasting on many channels, and again, I'm using kind of Gen X terminology. I still say, I'm on the phone with somebody when I'm a Google Meet, or we'll broadcasting on old channels when we're actually, streaming to Telegram and Twitch and all these other exciting mediums that are available right now in the interwebs. But anyway, hopefully we are getting you on your local platform right now. Not getting to you on your local platform right now. All right. Well, let's see. So this week is, some of you actually might already know what we've been doing. We submitted the Rosen Bridge proposal and basically finalized it. We've also been making sure that the word gets out to the community about the Rosen Bridge proposal. Also been speaking to some potential ecosystem partners about integrating and utilizing Rosen Bridge, which is also really exciting because the Watcher and Guard network is of course crucial, but you also want to make sure that the bridge is utilized right away. And so this is what we've been doing. We've been talking to some ecosystem players that could potentially utilize the bridge and make sure that traffic comes through and make sure that the launch is a success. With the momentum that we're getting for Rosen Bridge, I really don't think I just don't see how it's not going to be a success. It's everybody's loving it. And more people are understanding that this is something totally different from your standard bridge architecture. We're also still kind of trying to kind of clean up that narrative because, of course, with the bridge hacks in the past year, the word bridge has kind of become a 4-letter word for a lot of people. And right away you say bridge, you say, oh, well, I don't trust it. I want to just see it used first. I want to make sure that there's security audits and things, which is fair. However, you want to make sure that people are making those decisions based on proper information. And with the proper information being that the architecture, the core architecture of how Rosen works is vastly different than any other bridges out there. So that's been a big thing that we've been focusing on. So another pretty exciting addition that we've made to the Catalyst Fund, or another proposal that we did, is actually a traceability solution that we're originally designing on Ergo. So the Winter Protocol is going to be running traceability and tokenization using Ergo assets. But of course, what we're also doing is making sure that, well, first of all, it's open source and usable on Cardano as well with Cardano assets. So that's really exciting because, again, we're creating a tool set that I believe is very important and can be utilized in both ecosystems and as Ergo homegrown innovation. So again, just like Rosen, it's really exciting to be able to share this across ecosystems and to be able to utilize this across ecosystems. So that's a big thing. Aside from that, the other work, of course, continues. The education initiatives, various other things that we've been doing, kind of gearing up for Q3 and Q4. Just quite a bit of action the past week. Really exciting stuff. I'm very, very happy with the results that we're getting. What have you been up to, Alex?
Yeah, so actually a lot of things. So first of all, storage rent is coming. Means first block with storage rent been taken just in 1 hour now. So yeah, I'm checking some things. And yeah, let's see how will it go. So we will know in just 1 hour. And yeah, with storage rent, we'll actually be on a new page in the protocol and understanding. So yeah, with storage rent, well, it's the completely new economy, right, before us. And yeah, it's going to unwrap before our eyes in like 1 hour. All right, very exciting moment. And yeah, also nervous a bit. Let's see. Yeah, also well tested new release with bootstrapping with Nipopos. So next week it will be released. Then yeah, similar to bootstrapping with Nipopo or with bootstrapping with Utexo set snapshots. There will be need to wait for like a few weeks, so I will provide details like so 2 months actually. Maybe even before enough clients will have Nipopos to bootstrap from. And yeah, so currently, well, we have folks in the community excited about bootstrapping with Utexo set snapshots. So with headers being downloaded, it's now possible to get full sync just over lunch. So well, with both mods in action. So yeah, it would be like maybe well 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. For well complete bootstrapping with pretty much same security as with bootstrapping from Genius block. So yeah, it's coming finally. Then yeah, also had talks with HODLcoin team, helped with tests and so on. So it seems relaunch is coming. Then yeah, had talks with Gleon team, so new stablecoin by Bruno, basically a new generation of the Jet protocol. A new member in the family of the Jet protocols. So yeah, it's going pretty well towards testnet release. And then yeah, so for Dexy, well, charts API is done, and so yeah, the team is going towards public testnet release in late July. And yeah, with Rosen Light release is coming in a few weeks. So it seems, well, the rest of the summer would be quite hot. Dependless on how's going outside the window. All right, then, yeah, had discussions about the next hackathon. So it will take place around mid-October, probably. And yeah, it will be quite ambitious in regards with its messaging and so on. So stay tuned. Well, announcements will come, well, from August, I guess. First announcements will appear. All right. So, yeah, actually, a lot of news.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Sounds like it is. Sounds like you've been busy.
yeah, it's quite buzzing around despite the July. So yeah, a lot of activities around, and for me
Yeah.
as well.
All right. Well, Alex, what do you think about getting to some questions?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go. All right. Let's see. Hmm? Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So let's see. Well, I mean, this is kind of a very kind of uh, general question, but let's maybe start with this one. Can ERG survive the bear market? Yes, it can. ERG was born in the bear market. Ergo came out of the bear market in 2019. So we have made it through. We were born in the bear market, made it through the bear market, uh, and that was when the ecosystem was tiny. If we survived that, I just, I mean, I don't see how a decentralized ecosystem like this would not survive. What would that even mean? Not surviving this crypto winter or whatever. Because I actually get that question. I hear that question a bit. Can Ergo survive? Can Cardano survive? Well, I mean, if you have a decentralized ecosystem, yeah. What does that mean? What does surviving mean? I mean, okay, even if the Ergo Foundation for some reason, okay, was just non-existent tomorrow, for example, it's still. I mean, yeah, some things would change in the ecosystem that involve the Ergo Foundation, but it doesn't mean that Ergo would not survive because Ergo's got other entities. They got the community. We have community effort to keep the chain moving. So yeah, that wouldn't make that wouldn't kill it. Yeah, I just really don't see. I mean, barring some, I don't know, cataclysmic event, I just don't see how Ergo can not survive this bear market or the 50,000 future bear markets that are going to come. What are your thoughts about that, Alex? I mean, just specifically, the survival of a decentralized ecosystem and what it means for it not to survive.
Yeah, so well, cryptocurrency should be anti-fragile, I guess, right? So all the protocols in the cryptocurrency should be anti-fragile in this regard. So the Ergo is performing really well. Probably, yeah, the question is about, well, maybe some cracks in the ecosystem, but actually, yeah, ecosystem is doing quite well. Maybe even better than during bull markets, right? So less crap around, yeah, on only real stuff. Or mostly real stuff, right? Appearing. So yeah, well, despite bear market, if it's bear market, so yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on, right? Like duck pools, hodl, hodl coin, gluon, Dex erosion, and so on. So yeah, a lot of nice stuff. And yeah, actually, well, economically reasonable stuff, right? Because of the market, probably. Yeah, so in comparison with the previous bear market, well, this one is not so bear actually. So yeah, well, during the previous really painful bear market, so well, the community was well nearly non-existent, right? In comparison with what we do have today. So, well, totally different beer, actually.
Yeah, I mean it's and it's even way more decentralized than it was even back then. So I mean, there's even a smaller chance of something basically having this kind of detrimental effect on the ecosystem where it would just not exist anymore. And yeah, and that's I mean that's it by design. It's there by design, and so the more we grow, the more we develop, the more we expand the the network, the community, the tool set, the code that we write. The less vulnerable we are to being kind of killed off or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Actually, I'd like to give a shout out to the Sigmanaut Treasury. So the Sigmanaut Treasury Seed Fund raffle is live now, and there's 1 day left, guys. 1 day left. Now, one of the reasons why, well, of course, I want to give give a shout out to the Sigmanauts, but also this actually goes in tandem with what we're speaking about right now. Sigmanauts is a perfect example of making the ecosystem foolproof through decentralization. So you have a community group, right, that is basically bootstrapping right now and is looking to have their own initiatives and have their own efforts in ecosystem building, ecosystem expansion, building and expansion. I mean, I guess it's not mutually exclusive. But yeah, this is a very, very important effort, to get Sigmanauts funded. It is very important because that helps protect the ecosystem, because you're decentralizing the ecosystem. You're removing a single point of failure that can have a cascading effect, and you are distributing it. And this is what you do. So, guys, go there, join the raffle, and help the Sigmanauts get bootstrapped. It's really important. All right. Well, this is it. This is kind of an off question, but actually, I kind of would like to know this too. So, on a slightly different note, Dan and Alex, are you guys gamers? Would you play to relax a little? So I, for myself, and I'd like to actually hear Alex's side of this. I'll just kind of give my little spiel here. So I really like video games. I love video games. I grew up on the, more old school video games, Atari and Nintendo and all those, Sega Genesis. That was when I was really into game playing and, with the console and everything. But really, the games that I came to kind of love and play over the years have been strategy games. And the one that is kind of the strategy love of my life is Civilization. Sid Meier's Civilization. I played that game since Civ 1 and up until I think Civ 5, the one that came out a few years ago. And yeah, I would say that is, yeah, that's my cup of tea. And so I guess whatever that puts me into. I mean, I like FPSs and things like that. But the one that I kind of like the most are these strategy games where you get to build things, where you get to kind of build, you have this long, very modular play that's just more satisfying to me. But what about you, Alex? Are you a gamer? What do you like?
Oh, so I don't have time for gaming. So yeah, I'm not a gamer at all. Just sometimes playing chess actually, and yeah, these days mostly Crazy House version, and yeah, in a Super Blitz form. So that's just like 3 or 4 minutes per game. So yeah, so sometimes yeah, you can find me on the early chess server.
Yeah, chess is good. Actually, back in Ukraine, I played chess. I was in the chess club, but I was also in the checkers club, and I got up pretty high. Actually, there are all these different divisions. I mean, that's what I remember. I never actually looked into it if it's legit or not. But back in the '80s when I was playing checkers in a league, if you want to call it that, I got as high as I think like Division 2. So and there was like 8 divisions. So the 8th is like the lowest one, and 1 is the top one. And yeah, I got to Division 2. So yeah, I love chess, but I don't know. Checkers have kind of always been the one that I go to for kind of a quick fix. Chess is more of like you just kind of sit there and you want to slow burn a game. So yeah, that's what I've been. That's what's been my thing on that end. All right. Let's grab another question. Okay. Right. So here's a question. And this is just, I mean, I'm going to try to answer it. There just isn't really a clear answer on this just yet because we're still working on it. So the question is, since there are plans for having a Rosen token, any ideas for what Rosen Bridge tokenomics may look like? Well, excuse me for 1 second. Apologies, getting over a cold, and I guess I did not mute that. So apologies for anybody whose eardrums just popped. Right, so tokenomics for Rosen. We're currently actually actively working on this. And so what we're specifically working on is trying to really understand the appropriate incentive structure, not just for guards, for guards and watchers, but also understand what is the dynamic or the variation, if any, of incentive structure between guards and watchers. So that's actually kind of something that we've been debating internally, and that's kind of where we're at. So I'm hoping that we will figure this out really soon, but it's a very important topic, and this is why we're taking our time trying to figure it out. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with that. Okay. I mean, do you have any extra input on the Rosenbridge tokenomics, Alex?
Not much. So yeah, maybe there are some similarities with Oracle Pulse, right? And in Oracle Pulse 2.0, there is a custom reward token, mainly introduced to avoid dust, actually, initially. But then, how I found it useful is that, applications which are using Oracle Pulse 2.0, so Dexy, Gleon, right? So they will use Gold Oracle Pool. And so, part of minting fee will go to buy back those Oracle tokens and send them back to the Oracle's contract, which is actually quite interesting, right? So, applications are buying back tokens, sending them back to oracles, and then we may have even decreasing supply, right, of those tokens, actually. But we don't know. And yeah, it also depends on the price, right, in the liquidity pool. Let's see how's going.
Yeah.
But actually, it's more interesting than some governance token, right? What else can you do to reward oracles?
Yeah. There's actually a nice follow-up question, and this is something that I think you might have kind of more to say about here. So after Rosen bridge releases, is there any other big moves that the Ergo community should be looking forward or into? So what do you think, Alex? What is our next big thing after Rosen?
Oh, so bridges. Then lending, right? New stables. Then let's see. So that's actually about what are they thinking for the next hackathon? So the main question is if we target for adoption, right? And we definitely target for that. Then what does adoption mean, right? For cryptocurrency protocol and applications on top of it. There are a lot of directions here, right? From powering, some automated economies like AI, for example, to be a collateral for real world currencies such as community currencies, for example, and so on. A lot of directions actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty damn good answer. Plus, the beauty of the Ergo community is that, you never know. You might have a team working on something huge right now, and they're just not being public about it. And then there's gonna be bam, hey guys, we got this thing happening. We got this thing cooking, and it's gonna be huge, and it's gonna be something novel, and you just never know. So that's also really exciting about the community to me.
And so sometimes even it could be about some simple things like Sigmafy, right? Simple contracts, simple UI. So a couple of guys made this, then made documentation and so on, and it's a very nice tool, I guess. So useful in many scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. All right, so let's see. Actually, here's a question for me. Dan, are you wearing a programmer suit called a poncho? Nice. Actually, no. This is a t-shirt like thing with boat anchors on it. So these are boat anchors, and I am wearing matching bottoms. No, I'm just kidding. So hopefully that clears things up. All right. Okay, so we kind of get this question, and we get The community talking about the top 20, the Ergo to top 10, right? And so here's a question. If Bitcoin would go up to all-time high this year, is Ergo ready to take the top 20 spot? So I kind of want to address that and talk to you about this, Alex. What do you think would be the kind of the effect of Ergo just shooting up to the top 20, number one? And number two, is that something that we want? I mean, in your opinion, would it be better if we just kind of shut up to top 20 or top 10, or would it what would the best kind of outcome case scenario for kind of moving up in the quote unquote charts? And we're talking about market cap, but just not just that. I'm talking about development. I'm talking about GitHub commits. I'm talking about all these different things that are used to measure ecosystem success. Even clumsy things like TVL. So what do you think?
Oh, so actually, I'm thinking in case of Ergo, so TVL will drive the rating up. Yeah, probably. It would be about emission reduction, right, and growing TVL growth rate, yeah. So at some point, right, if you have less new coins than locked in the contracts, that means you have demand, right? So means with increased demand and inflexible supply. So it will go up. Any sudden movements will add a lot of headache for developers. So better to have a slow rise actually from development point of view. Otherwise, it's about a lot of chaos everywhere. There were a few moments before when during some crazy pumps it was nearly impossible to work on things because you have to check actually how things are working under loads, and that's also useful, very useful, by the way. In regards with Bitcoin, not Bitcoin. So I think it should be done dependless on Bitcoin, right? The ecosystem growth and adoption with possible appreciation in regards with market cap and so on. And that's probably what is going on, right? So dependless on bear market or whatever. So a lot of bright ideas, new applications, and so on.
From my kind of point of view, of course, if we all of a sudden go up to top 20 or top 10, Godspeed. However, if I had my preference, I would rather see growth out, not up. Of course, up is also good, but if I had to pick between having exponential growth out versus exponential growth up, I would pick that. The reason why is because when you're growing out, you're kind of expanding the possibilities and the abilities of the ecosystem to create other autonomous or semi-autonomous parts of it, right? From the macro ecosystems, create micro ecosystems, right? So you have other products coming out, right? Launching their own tokens, for example, and that's its own ecosystem within, it's an ecosystem within itself. You have, some sort of like cross-chain tech adoption going on. You have a lot more being built, and not just things that lock value, but just in general utilize the chain. Now, does that reflect price? Sometimes, yeah. But in general, I think it's going to affect the robustness of the ecosystem more. And I think that is actually more important to us, is to make the ecosystem more and more and more robust. Now, once we do that, and if we actually keep on to that, again, this is my personal opinion, if we keep on to that, then the growth up will happen naturally. But it will not happen in a way where just like it shoots up and we don't know what to do with it. It will grow, but it will grow in a way where it's sustainable for us. And when it does grow to where it's, where it's supposed to be, or where we think it's supposed to be, we're going to be there comfortably. We're gonna have the infrastructure, the ecosystem infrastructure to support this. We're not a VC chain. We're not one of these chains that all of a sudden they pop out of nowhere and they got 200 projects building on them. Like, what? Well, from where? Where did they come from? What is that? Sounds like bullshit to me. Or you have chains like, say, Solana, which in its infancy, actually, I liked what they were doing in its infancy. But it just blew up too much, too fast. The price blew up. People got greedy. People got, people forgot what their priorities were. And it is what it is today. And so I don't want that for Ergo. And I'm not saying it will, even if we blew up in the same exponential way as Solana did, where it went from, just like being one of the, cool new guys on the block that people sometimes talk about, to being in like the top 10 or the top 20. I actually think this ecosystem is more well equipped for that. And we're a lot more capable of kind of capitalizing on something like that in the right way. So like, introducing more allegiance to first principles, building out using that particular mentality. Still, though, I don't think it would be a good thing for us to just blow up all of a sudden. I would like to see it be done with a foundation that can sustain the growth. Because also it's actually something that, one of the reasons, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Palmyra, and what I'm going to say is one of the reasons why we're not just releasing a token, right off the bat, is, number one, there is no need right now, right? There's going to be a need at a point that we already decided, right? So the system will scale to a certain degree, and that's when you need the token, and that's when the token is going to launch. But also, the other reason why we didn't want to launch a token is, if you launch a token, it's extra noise that you do not need right now. The same with price just blowing up all of a sudden. It could be good, but it could also be a bunch of noise and bring a bunch of noise into the ecosystem that's going to, in a way, drown out the voices that really are important, and bring in a bunch of moon boys and people chasing green candles. And so I just hope that does not happen to this system, because it's growing right now. I just think it's really beautiful, and I think we should really try and sustain that particular growth vector. All right, let's see. Okay, so here's a good follow-up question to what we're just talking about. Do you think that the last bull run shows that a majority of investors don't value decentralization? And what does this mean for Ergo in the next bull run? So, you know, okay. So the blockchain field right now, it's still in its infancy. And the last bull run, you had a lot of retail come into crypto for the first time. And they didn't come into crypto because they like the tech. They came into crypto because, unlike the stock market, it's not as regulated and you can make a hell of a lot more money a lot faster than you can in the stock market. Or at least that's the perception. And that's why they came in. That's why, all the speculation on Dogecoin happened, or Doge. Sorry, they call it Dogecoin, but Doge, right? It was just, people just dumping money into this because they heard other people that made money on it, right? They didn't put money into it because they think the tech is cool. They didn't put the money into it because they think the ecosystem is cool. They just dump money into it. And so you're always going to have that element. But I believe that the way we're growing right now, we're attracting more of the right investors, even though they're not, they're not these droves that come in, say like to its Solana or something. But, I don't really want those guys, right? Not really, because what are they going to do? They're going to pump, they're going to dump. We want somebody, or I want some people in the ecosystem that is going to stay, that is going to understand what Ergo is and where their money is going. And where the money is coming and what they're investing into. I'd rather have 100 investors like that into our ecosystem than have 1 million moon boys pumping the price and then dumping whenever they get, they get panicky. It's like, oh my God, the boom is coming, and let's just sell. So, I mean, that's what I think about this. What do you think, Alex?
That's probably true. That's most of investors during the last bull run. Not very interesting in decentralization, but the same was in 2017, I guess. I mostly missed that bull run happily because, those days it was possible to stay away from all those groups, social media, and just work on Ergo. It's not the first bull run, I think, of that kind. And also most of those investors losing money, right? And after such bull runs, I believe some are coming to Ergo as well, right? So Ergo, Bitcoin. So some people coming to Monero. So after those crazy periods, those bull runs, I think communities of Bitcoin, Monero, Ergo, and so on, are actually increasing, right? And getting more hardcore, actually. Because probably after losing money on some crappy blockchain tokens, so people are actually becoming maximalists. Some of them, at least.
Yeah. Well, any kind of maximalism is not good. Even Ergo maximalism. I mean, you can be an Ergo fan, but you don't have to be a maxi. Maximalism, I think, is a mental illness. Anyway, all right. Oh, there's a quick question here. Will you be at Las Vegas again this year? And so I think what Mark was talking about, the NFT XLV. Yes, I will be. And so will some of the Ergonauts. I know that Mac from Blitz will be there. We're going to see if we can get a few other people out there. Possibly Joe will be there again. So yeah, we're going to see about being out there again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the event, and I'm sure that many others are as well in the ecosystem. So yeah, we'll see you there. All right. So let's see the storage. Okay. Here's a nice, I guess a nice question to, well, maybe one of the last ones to take, to leave off on. So storage rent is a few blocks away. Have you guys heard if any mining pool will implement it? Alex, have you heard of any mining pool that is looking to implement it?
Not much actually. So, some pools asked me, well, what's needed. So I pointed them to some old forum post, and that's it. So yeah, I don't know what's actually done on their side. Yeah, we have a big surprise coming. Let's see. It could be a very funny day today.
Surprise, you say, huh? I like surprises. I always wanted to surprise birthday party. I actually had one in my life, so it was really nice. Surprises are good, so we'll wait for the surprise. Let's see. Okay, so this is a good question as well. And so, what are your thoughts on the NFT space on Ergo? Could it help to drive adoption in the future? I see a lot of projects popping up, even in bear market. So I think that the NFT space on Ergo is actually really cool. It's very organic. It's very kind of personable. Our friend Fo, several other artists and NFT creators are, I mean, we know these guys, right? So that's also one. It's also part of the culture, this kind of fairly personable relationship that you have with some of these creators. So I think that it's growing well right now. I really like it. I think that it will grow even more as Ergo grows. And we're already seeing this, even compared to a year ago, you can see that this is a hell of a lot, more just robust than it was before. As far as, could it help drive adoption in the future? Yes, I do. And I think that just NFT technology will drive adoption in the future when we start utilizing it a lot more. And actually, the way Ergo NFTs are built is really cool because you have a lot of possibilities for utilizing Ergo NFTs, not just for intellectual property, but for, not just for representing images or collectibles, but also to say, for example, what we're doing with Winter Protocol right now, which is using Ergo NFTs for tokenization and traceability. And then there's all these different things that you can do with them. And so I think that actually not just the art, but really utilizing more utility cases or utilizing Ergo NFTs in more utility cases will bring adoption really nicely and a lot faster, I think, than just kind of like letting us get stuck on like one or two things that we're doing with it. So yeah, I do think that it is important, and I'm glad that we're supporting it from the Zengate side. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Yeah, so not following the space much recently, but yeah, during early days, got some nice collections, and buying these days also from known artists. Yeah, I think NFTs is actually a great possibility for artists around the world to get connected immediately with buyers. So, at least, but yeah, there are more possibilities, right? Sorry, I am a bit sick today. Yeah, yeah, there are more possibilities, for NFT technology, such as digitalization, right, of real world assets in some cases. Vanity digital objects like proof of work backed NFTs, right? So you can combine them. So you can have mining firm working on NFT ID, and at the same time human artist doing artwork. Yeah, a lot of possibilities, but yeah, also that's a good possibility for artists. I saw artists from around the world selling NFTs on Ergo auction house, and yeah, that's good to get connected immediately in this regard. So to have the global market, right, which is working without any censorship and basically in real time.
Yeah. So, and what do you think they'll do for Ergo adoption?
NFT. So yeah, they're connecting real world with blockchain, right? In some scenarios, right? So naturally, the blockchain is a good environment for digital works, right? And for artists as well, and NFTs is a natural possibility. Then, if it allowing for digitalization of real world tests, then yeah, it's also about connecting with the real world, right? And so increasing adoption. Because usually, we are considering some real world needs, right, when we are talking about adoption. Because, some on-chain metrics, so they can be faked easily, like TVL, trading volume, and so on. So, all those things are easily fakeable. So, then the only thing in regards with adoption is how it affects the real world for real.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think we're kind of at about that hour. So, I mean, Alex is already falling asleep. Can't even see him anymore. Anyway, there he is. All right. Okay. So let's just maybe leave off with this. Is there are there any documents available related to Interprotocol? Or where can we expect? When can we expect more details? So we're still finishing up the logic behind it. Almost done with that. After which we will be releasing documentation, of course. The code, of course, is going to be open source. So that's going to come in the next few weeks, I would say. If you'd like to kind of get more information about what it is, you can actually check out the Catalyst proposal that we put out basically expanding this into Cardano. So the idea and I guess the core would be the same, right? It's just it would be more Cardano specific through Catalyst, but kind of the essence of it and how it utilizes NFTs for tokenization and for traceability is the same. So you can get some information there. And yeah, in the next few weeks, we will put out more information, more documentation. And like I said, eventually we'll have the code out there for the community to look at, audit, and utilize. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to leave it off for today. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Alex, for joining. It's always good to have you on one of these AMAs. Yeah, and so next week, same time, same channel. Get your questions ready because we will be here.
Yeah, and so no community chat this week, but next week maybe we will do something.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining, and have a good morning, day, or evening, or afternoon, or whatever it is where you are at. So long.
Bye, everyone.